Welcome, everybody. Number 23.
23, Dave.
Michael Jordan's a lot of good 23s throughout history, right? So Michael Jordan comes to mind when I think of 23. But hey, amazing. We're without Ian, who's with us in the spirit. He's at the
Ted. He's at TED Talks right now. Why
listen,
weren't we invited to TED Talk?
listen, at least we know where we are on the list of important things, right?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think I should be giving a TED Talk. I do.
Well, you give one every time we do this, so
Well, that's true. Pretty soon it's going to be called a straight talk, not a TED Talk.
I like it. Um, how was your week, Wayne, since we were here last?
Hey, look, I am really hitting all cylinders now, Dave. Thank you for asking. I mean, my kids are doing great. My wife and I will be celebrating our 20th anniversary on the 23rd. Um, you know, God has given me the greatest. I feel very bad for every other man on this planet that they are not married to my wife. You know, Tracy, and I could not be more blessed to be married to her. So happy anniversary, Trace. And hopefully the 20 is an appetizer to our marriage. I love that girl.
Happy anniversary, Tracy, and I'll speak to you guys on the day, which is in 2 days when we'll premiere, I think, our next podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I think it's been great so far, but now I think it's once you've set the foundation, right? And everything's continuing to evolve. I think we've talked about on the show Google Ads, that whole thing's changing. You got to keep on top of it on a daily basis. Just the world, right? Supply chain, depending on what you're selling, right? This is not, let me just put up a website and leave it alone.
No.
This is an ongoing, yeah, it's just on.
You have to educate yourself and keep educating yourself. Stay on top of that's everybody has to do that. And things are moving so much quicker now than they were 5 years ago. And then it was way faster than the previous 10, 20, on and on.
Yeah. So I think that and I think as we think about the community and we're getting ready to launch, the Straight Talk Commerce community within all the things we're doing, it's kind of almost like, we started the AI think tanks every week, twice, three times a week,
Right.
just because you can't set it and quit. All these new things happening, you and I and Ian, we
Yeah.
can't keep track of everything, right? And all the so-called experts out there, if they say they're an expert, beware, because that's just impossible,
Well,
right?
look, you said it. I mean, that is a very good point. So many times, and you're right. We do what, three AI think tanks because it takes that much. Things are changing that quickly. In each one of them, you learn something new that you aren't aware of. When Notebook LM came out, everybody that I mean, people just were. It sent a cold shiver through everybody's in the communities. Knowledge of what this really was capable of doing. And so you're right. If you have not dug into at least a community, and I would argue you need to do multiple communities, whether they be business, certainly business related, but AI in particular, okay, you're really hurting yourself. You are really, really hurting yourself because things move very, very quickly. And if you can stay at least only a couple steps behind, you're going to be so much further ahead of everybody that's not doing it at all.
Yeah, without a doubt, right? And and it's little things that you can tweak, right? So I think, some of the things we talked about in our discussion, I wanted to start off like 'cause we talk about this quite a bit, is just collaborations, right? Partners, local businesses. I went to my first Alignable event a few weeks ago, which
Oh
is,
wow.
it's interesting, right? 'Cause it's a community. It's kind of more of like a website like LinkedIn, but then they have the local groups. I saw a lot of, just reminded me of some of the things we had at Witty when we're going through the growing pains. And I feel it like from the other side. Oh, every person in the room, some of them don't pay. It's a kind of a free community. Some is $29.95 a month, but everybody has all the demands, right? Where we met in Meadow, right? It's
Right.
that kind of shifted from from a physical event in LA to then they went online, and then the growth, the demand, people get spoiled, right? I think, throughout 89 at Witty, we started Witty when people were just starting to use email. We had our first conference in 95.
You were way ahead of the curve.
Well, not just that,
There
right? But
is now
we're
there is now a proliferation of these groups, and pretty soon there'll be another contraction, and a lot of these things will fall to the wayside. And you'll see the ones that survive are the ones that find a way to monetize without being super intrusive. Odyssey,
right.
for example, we're doing that a little bit differently than the average, men's group or business group. You find
Right.
interesting ways of monetizing that does not require to be in the specific individuals' pockets, and you're going to win, I think.
Yeah, well, look, there's certainly different ways. There's group knowledge and collaboration.
Mhm.
I met Dr. Louis Rosenberg for the first time over Zoom, even though we live very close to each other. It took a woman in Romania to introduce us. What they have is their swarm AI technology that just, it's kind of like when schools of fish go, and how do we collaborate with the whole community, and how does that raise intelligence? And I think a lot of it, when we're partnering with the right partners, when we have the platform like the Powered by Witty, when you came and said you wanted to do Odyssey, it was up a day later, right? And with
Right.
content where people can come in that door, and so many of them now are participating. I mean, just listen and be heard is still going on.
We had close to 100 people the first Odyssey because of that. The ability of technology to gather and group people, right?
Yeah.
And to from across the country, by the way, Ireland and Africa and Costa Rica, all of these places where
Okay.
people were able to congregate in a Zoom meeting or online. Um, you didn't have that ability even 5 or 10 years ago. Certainly not prior to COVID. You did not have the ability to do that. So it's interesting to see, and it's also interesting to follow. Okay, what are the next steps? What do we have to do to increase the number of people that get to enjoy this and contribute? What do we do to keep them interested? What do we do to help them? I like the term grab a hoe, and bust the ground, help out. um, you know how do you do that? How do you manage a large group of men, especially, but I'm sure it's the same for women's groups, and get them to contribute and create a community? And that's an interesting thing to do. I never thought I would be involved in doing that.
Totally. But hey, but here we are, right? And again, it's something where you have to move, be agile, move with roll with the punches.
Sure.
And look, and be flexible on other ends, right? Like we got pushed today because we had the podcast, and we had the the listen to be heard, want to be there for our members. Then we wanted to support Gavin with his initiative.
Imagine a world where your professional growth knows no bounds. Welcome to Witty.com, celebrating 35 years of empowering innovators. Join a community where trust and influence are at the core. Experience exclusive training programs designed to elevate your skills. Our annual summit brings together the brightest minds from multiple industries. As a member, you'll gain access to invaluable resources and support. Network with like-minded professionals who share your passion for innovation. Benefit from mentorship programs that guide you towards success. Celebrate your achievements with a community that recognizes your efforts. Witty.com is more than a membership. It's a journey of growth and success. Join us in celebrating 35 years of innovation and excellence. Take advantage of our special anniversary membership offer today. Unlock your potential with workforce innovation, trust, and influence. Visit Witty.com and become a member today.
Then I was just informed I had the Hong Kong meeting in 10 minutes. I'm bumping that because now everything got pushed.
Everybody gets pushed back. I mean, look, you realize what the priorities with somebody are very quickly when you partner up and when you start doing a project, right? We support one another extremely well, so we're a little more agile. We can do that. We have a weekly podcast that comes out on Wednesdays. That's a hard and fast. I like to, say to our subscribers, we will have a podcast out for you at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time every single Wednesday. Whether it's the two of us, whether it's all three of us, whether it's me getting in here, rolling up my sleeves and putting something together. And for that reason, especially, you know what today is?
No. Oh.
We crossed 7,000 subscribers, 181 days, Dave. 181 days. We have 7,000 and I think now 80 subscribers to this. And I think it's no small part in the fact that every single week, our listeners, our new subscribers know that there's going to be new content to help them in their business. And by the way, that subscriber is maybe they come to us for one lesson in how to run their e-commerce business. I'm okay with that. Maybe they come to us because we have a 4-part series that's going on and we're going to teach them something even a little bit bigger than that, right? I'm okay. That's great. If someone subscribes to the channel and then goes and finds information somewhere else to check our work or whatever, that's what this is about.
Totally. And that's the world we're living in, right? Kind of always on.
It's all part of building an audience, building a community that you're talking about. You're always talking about building a community, giving them insight into other resources. That's what we hope to do tonight. Giving people insight into other resources to help them. Every single one of these episodes, David, is researched prior to ever being filmed, which most podcasts do not do. They do not do. They bring in a guest, but they don't research what their audience is necessarily looking for. We do that here.
Yeah. No, it's incredible, right? So I think, and look, we talk about collaboration, connecting with other like-minded communities, right? Remember early days of the AI think tank where every day, every week, it would be something new. The best presentation. AI, at least it seems like it's stabled out, but the minute you think that, 6 more things coming out.
Oh man, no. Every week it's new products. It's
right.
new. I just talked to you prior to this about Synth ID. Right. Being able to go in and tell the difference, definitively tell the difference between something that is AI derivative or straight out of somebody's brain. For those people that are interested in whether this piece of content or this picture or this poem or this song came from AI, had anything to do with it, now they have the ability to inject that ID into everything that is spun up by one of these generative AI programs. So now people are going to start being way more comfortable when it comes to artificial intelligence and the content generated by that. Don't you think?
Yeah, no, totally, right?
I think
And
that's
it's just,
kind of the piece that's missing. You not knowing whether or not the song I wrote about you, whether it came out of my head or whether it was AI derived from AI, that bothers some people.
look, I think, and I shared with you, we put up right, like, and again, what is the range, right? We know, for those of you that go into deep into writing, right? ChatGPT and Claude and some of the LLMs and Notebook and some of the other things you can do. So, we started, and Jessica Haas, shout out to her, when she published, she's one of our writers and has been, more recently, as she used AI for a lot of the research and just to lay the foundation for the article. She wrote that, she's written using custom AI prompting and editing. Now, right? I mean, before, like, we used a spell checker. Do we need to write? Oh, I used Grammarly to make sure my grammar was correct, right? But there was a tipping point, and then early AI, which was what, a year ago, right? Oh, you've used AI to write something. Was the right? I mean, Harrison talked about these are the same arguments, which we are going
Whether
to get
whether it's images, whether it's look, I have gone into Chat GPT, I've gone into Midjourney, I've done Sono. What was the other one that was so popular there for a while? Kind of fallen off a little bit. Udio. Okay, I've written two albums, by the way, of songs through Suno and Udio, just to see which one of them did it better. You go to someone and you say to them, hey, would you like to hear the song I wrote? And they say, is it AI? First question at every single, across the board, the first question was, is it AI? Did you use AI? Well, look at me. I'm a fat tub. I don't sing. I can't play a musical instrument. I wrote the lyrics, but I had someone else sing this. AI music is held to a higher standard than just regular music, I argue. Okay, I'm telling you now, it is held to a higher standard. People are not yet ready. Now, Marcus Bell, who he would tell you, hey, I'm making a very tight living off of AI, a individual he created out of whole cloth. It's all AI. Right? The voice is AI, the music is AI, everything about, what was it, Raven, yeah. Everything about that is AI, and he's making what I thought, or what I've heard, is a very tidy sum. And people, maybe some people know, maybe some people don't know, that is all AI generated. But the Japanese have been doing that for a long, long, long time.
Japanese. I mean, that's been happening in our music industry, right?
Yeah, we failed at it with Milli Vanilli, having someone, and we put Rob and Fab up and they started lip syncing. It's not what I'm talking about. In Japan, there are entire 100,000 seat arenas that get filled with a laser beam light of a Japanese music artist. You never see the actual artist. What you see is the anime of that music artist that comes out on stage, and she gets, I say she, the people that did that, but it's all artificial. It gets marriage proposals. It has rabid fans, and it's incredible that the Japanese seem to be way more accepting of this type of technology. How's that?
True. Yeah, listen, right. it's all just starting though, right? I mean,
Yeah.
even the Dodger game the other day, you could go to the stadium and kind of watch it as if it was happening there.
In today's rapidly evolving healthcare landscape, effective project management is more crucial than ever. Many organizations struggle with achieving their goals due to inefficiencies and lack of direction. Tony Robbins' RPM framework can transform this approach. The RPM framework provides a roadmap for success. You'll soon see how applying these principles can revolutionize healthcare project management and lead to better outcomes for everyone involved. Let's take a deeper dive into applying the RPM framework to healthcare project management. It all begins with defining your outcomes. Think improved patient care, operational efficiency, and data accuracy. These goals set the stage for transformation. Next, understand your why. This is where you align your efforts with greater purposes like patient-centered care, innovation, and sustainability. A clear why gives you direction and purpose. Now, create your roadmap. Engage stakeholders early and often. Conduct readiness assessments to gauge where you are and what you need. Develop comprehensive training programs to bring everyone up to speed. Set concrete milestones and metrics so you can measure progress along the way. And don't forget, communication is key. Regular updates keep everyone aligned and motivated. Lastly, focus on the 20% of actions that will yield 80% of the results. This principle keeps you efficient and effective, concentrating efforts where they matter most. By following these steps, you harness the power of the RPM framework to reimagine project management in healthcare. This approach transforms outcomes and drives innovation in real-world examples. By applying the RPM framework, healthcare organizations can achieve transformative results. Imagine enhanced patient care, streamlined operations, and accurate data management. These are not just possibilities, but tangible outcomes. Real-life examples showcase the remarkable successes already achieved. Increased efficiency in patient care and precise data management demonstrates the framework's profound impact. Now it's your turn to start the transformation. If you seek guidance or assistance, don't hesitate to reach out. Your journey to better healthcare project management begins now. Join Healthcare Project Management Association, or HPMA, today. Your first step in this adventure is contacting Ian Slade at ian@itconsultinggroup.com. He can guide your path from there.
Yeah, anyway, just crazy.
Yeah. Insane.
Yeah. So anyway, partner up is the main topic there, and thought, not just with other communities, but some of these influencers, Wayne. I mean, it is pretty crazy, right? How there is, I mean, not even hierarchical, because I mean, I've seen some very well-known people, right? And even just like, it's not even about longevity, right? Witty, we've had and I'm sure people are gonna look at our YouTube channel and just throw up, because we kind of used it as a video repository early. We were probably, on YouTube very early, and used it as a way to store content. So we weren't doing some of the things that, because I think we're at maybe less than 2K subscribers, even though we have a community of hundreds of thousands, but that was just a small piece of it, right? What you've done with Straight Talk Commerce, now we're close to 8,000 subscribers, and just all the people, the activity, the engagement, it's incredible.
The indifference is promotion. Expecting people to, it's a small world, David, but it is a massive internet. The internet is so much larger than the earth, the world is. You understand? There's 1 billion new websites that go up daily. It's unbelievable how vast, and some of it, the vast majority, I would even say, is garbage to most people. It doesn't apply to most people. Now, swimming around with everybody else in that lake of content is really your chances of finding something or having something go viral, how we like to say viral. Even things that go viral didn't really go viral the way people think they did. Okay? It wasn't some dude getting hit in the nuts with a rake and it was shared by 2 people and then it blew up. That's not how that, some of that content sits on the internet for years before enough people can actually share it and blast it out. Now, with us, there is a very pointed, a very organized, a very intensive promotion for this channel. And it has the opportunity to really go viral, the quote unquote viral. At a certain point, the algorithms will turn over like a diesel engine, and it will just propel this channel to the millions and millions of subscribers and the hundreds of thousands and tens of thousands and then millions of views each one of these things, each one of these videos deserve. But you've got to find your audience, buddy. You have to. And influencers are different. Influencers, if you hire someone to do an influencer campaign for you, that individual is going to first go in and find people who actually influence others to buy things. It's in the name, Dave. It's in the name. If you have no influence, you are not an influencer. You understand?
Yeah.
You cannot be an influencer if you have no influence and no one does what you say to do.
Totally. Yeah, and look, I think that, I spent some time this weekend with Camille, who I host the HAL 9000 think tank with, who partners with his brother, Jeremy Fragrance, right? They've got millions and millions of followers on that channel. Dr. Michael Bruce, the sleep doctor who we just met, 154,000 up, as far as his subscribers to YouTube.
Yeah.
You're right.
102,
Right, which
1.2 million subscribers to the Fragrance channel in 10 years.
right.
And
No,
149,000 in the German YouTube channel, okay, since 2016. So what, 8 years? 8 years that he's had that channel. So imagine what they would have done or what he could do had he promoted that channel. It would be in the 10 to 15 to 20 million subscriber range. And the content, I would argue, is pretty amazing. He does for fragrances and by the way, influencer. He is his engagement, and we will talk about this at some point. I will do a short, or you and I will do a short about how to figure out what your engagement rate is. Or if you're going to hire an influencer, let's find out what that engagement rate is. Because that's going to tell you whether or not that campaign is going to be successful.
And look, and I guess my point is, it's not even about the big numbers, depending on what your niche is. Right? Because you want, somebody could have 2,000 subscribers that speak about something very specific. And if that's who you're marketing to, great, right?
Right.
And it's value. And, and some things, you see all these people, I'm going to rate, we're going to talk about starting your new e-commerce business on next week's show. But it's like, oh, I have to raise $2 million or $5 million, whatever, when these people come up, I want to raise money or $1 million for their new business. Okay, well, what's that $1 million for?
Yeah.
Right? You need office space.
What are your priorities? How are you going to spend that money?
Right. And even those things that you say you need to start to get the business going and start it, some of those things you can trade what your services are for that.
Right.
You can do different strategic deals, right?
It doesn't, yeah. I have a friend of mine, Frank Bachman. He is a very good friend. I've known him for a long time. Called me. We're having lunch on Wednesday. Frank called me and said, my daughter wants to go to work online. She wants to own her own business, have a business online. Would you please talk with her? I'll buy you lunch. We're going to go to the Longhorn. We're going to have a nice steak, and we're going to talk to his daughter and kind of tell her what's what. Okay. which is lucky for our subscribers, because I went ahead and did the research that I am going to actually give to her in person and go through a checklist. And by the way, that checklist is available. All you have to do is comment down below. You want the checklist? I'll give it to you for free. So there you go. But it will tell you step by step by step, not only what to do, but how to do the things that I'm telling you what to do. And you'll have that. And by the way, the vast majority of the things that are on that list of things you must do to be successful.
Feeling isolated and disconnected? You're not alone. Many men struggle to find a community that truly understands them. Introducing Odyssey, a place where fellowship and brotherhood thrive. Join us on a journey of personal growth and meaningful connections. At Odyssey, we believe in the power of brotherhood. Our community fosters brotherly connections that last a lifetime. We come together to serve our communities and make a difference. Hear from those who have transformed their lives with Odyssey. Odyssey gave me the brotherhood I was missing. I found other business leaders and entrepreneurs who share my values. Together, we make a real impact in our community. Odyssey is more than a group, it's a brotherhood. Join us and discover the power of true fellowship. Take the first step towards a more connected and fulfilling life. Odyssey, where fellowship, business, and brotherhood unite. For more information, go to yte.com.
Do they have a very low cost or no cost at all? I've done the research. I've kind of put those things together, and I am trying to get people, because look, Dave, this economy doesn't seem to be getting any better. We've got to do other things to kind of raise our own income. I don't think either of the candidates right now are out to save anybody. I'm just being frank. So that is something that we're going to be offering someone. And if you comment this week, I'll count it toward next week. I'll send you the list of things. That seems like a pretty fair idea.
Yeah, for sure. And then, you say the candidates, which you're probably talking about the US presidential race. It's in a few weeks, right?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yes,
And how many countries are people watching this from?
Totally true.
So it's
100%.
like you can't think within what's going on around you, right? Because, wherever people are coming in from or who you're selling to. I mean,
Yeah,
I
but
think
the economy here is the economy pretty much everywhere else, we're finding out.
no, it is. But if you have a digital product, and I do want to
Mm-hmm.
have an episode just about ways you could market your product overseas.
Yeah.
Right. So what you did with Melody Clouds is you translated it and was able to do it into how many languages?
113 countries.
213 languages. Or if you have an English selling product or English, product, first of all, you can translate it into different languages, but you could also target, English speakers in other countries and bring your costs down and get creative, right? So there's just so many things that you can do ongoing.
Yeah.
So now talk to me a little bit about, and I know we're going to have the e-commerce redneck on, before the end of the year, I'm sure. But as far as store layout optimization, how have you done a deep dive into that?
Well, look, I see okay, there's two different types of e-commerce stores. A lot of these are pre-made stores. They follow a certain, and people go in and they blast out. They've got 30,000, 60,000 different products. And the more products you add, the harder it is to find the products that you sell. What you are looking to do is, and Hotjar is very good to help with this, what you're looking to do is you want to put as little effort into your customers hunting and searching for the products that you sell. And we are living in an age where it's very easy. If you've got a product, you can advertise that product and you can lead people right directly to that product, but you can also do it where you've got, let's say you have 30,000, like the survival store. I have a survival store, it's 30,000 products. Okay. program right now that actively goes out and lets people who are looking for that product know that, hey, Blackhawk Survival has that product. Here's where I'm going to handhold you and bring you right back to that product there. Now, if my price is right and if that it is something that they are looking to end their search on, they purchase that product. We've had some pretty good luck in the last few months over that. So those are the type of things that you want to do. You want to set up your website. If it's a t-shirt store, you want to make sure that, hey, your t-shirts, and you want to sell t-shirts, you want to make sure that they are very easy to find to the customers that are looking for t-shirts.
Right, for sure. And then, and just like you said, with the political environment, the laws, some company, some you could be selling poultry like you're doing, and then they change the laws and you can't do it through e-commerce. So there are, just different things that we have to be aware of. And again, I think it's all about being agile in
Well,
this
if you're
new
in a
age
business,
of craziness, right? Look, I mean, look,
yeah.
sorry, at our summit
Sure.
that's coming up in next month, right? We're having the head of, one of the AI policy lead for the UK there. What are the laws that are changing? What kind of regulations are going to be coming into the US and other countries? And it's just never ending.
Well, the good news is everyone that's on Shopify, everyone that's on some of these platforms, it's baked in. In other words, you don't have to. They know, and it's put into the algorithms what products can be sold in the EU that cannot be sold in Canada. What can be sold in Canada that cannot be sold in Sri Lanka, for example. Okay. One of the things when I started at Toy Store, someone had a whole line of CBD oil that was buried into it wasn't even the product that I loaded into the website. Okay, this was CBD shampoo, CBD conditioner. Okay, CBD was a big, huge thing, and I was not even aware that the company that I was fulfilling these orders through it wasn't on my store, Dave. That's what I'm trying to say. These products were not on my store. They were being offered from the manufacturer and the distributor, my distributor's website. And that still got me twisted up and sideways. If you don't know how to fix that problem, you are in for a huge education very quickly.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Anyway, we're getting and look, and I think it's cool. When did we start this, Wayne? We started Straight Talk Commerce in
April.
in April?
Yeah, April. We've
Right.
been doing this for
Yeah, April
181 days today.
Right. So just the evolution of technology and and different technologies that I guess will bring us to our next topic, as far as follow up, right? Following up on emails, leveraging the technology, responding to customers, right? I mean, I think a lot of that stuff started when they had the I think I want to say Southwest was the first kind of bigger company to have these virtual call centers
Mhm.
where people just log into the software and now all of a sudden they can be turned on to make calls, which
Yeah.
goes back, 15 years, right? And now we kind of take these things for granted. But it wasn't always like that. But just think how far, the tech has gone. And I'll tell you, another great person to bring on as we start bringing these businesses in is like a Peter Schroeder, right? Who has Telzio, where it's him and his wife have the company and a small team. They're competing with the Ring Centrals and some of these other big telecom companies, right? But it's, when you have your technology and you can leverage your expertise and make sure you're bringing on, he happens to be a very deep technical person that's brilliant. And his wife's more
Yeah.
on the business sales side. But look, don't try to do things you're not great at. At bring on a partner, bring on an employee, bring on somebody to help you grow the business.
Or automate. Hey, look,
Yeah.
one of the things no one can argue is prior to COVID, okay, prior to the COVID, we were barely able to make that pivot. It could have been so much worse. And the innovation that happened during that period of time is mind blowing, because you're right, there was a whole workforce that was generated during that period of time, and everybody's at home, and now those jobs are super competitive to get. A lot of people really enjoyed working in their pajamas, sitting on the couch, putting a headset on while they're watching a show on TV, and earning a living by performing customer service online. Okay. And it's
Yeah.
being done all over the country, and now it's being shipped overseas. And it saved lives. And I don't mean that lightly, I mean that very seriously, because we took a workforce and moved it directly online, where we had these massive call centers before and vast expenses for these call centers, and we were forced to move those into private homes. And now it is go do a search, go to LinkedIn, go to any of these Job Monster, it's a highly competitive. People have their own businesses where they work for multiple companies throughout the week. It's the digital version of Uber and Uber Eats and any food delivery, right? You got somebody sitting you got their socks on, and they're performing American Airlines ticketing, or they're returning items to Gucci or to whatever.
And just some innovation, cloud kitchens, right?
Yeah.
Where yes, use the kitchen for 3 different restaurants, right? And use AI and use technology to monitor the need in your areas.
And all of that happened in less than a year,
Without a
really.
doubt. Well, and look at all the kids that were forced to stay home, but also
Yeah.
use Zoom, right? Or use whatever video platform they were using, or Chrome or whatever, to go to
Yep.
class. Now, certainly there were some negative pieces to that, and many in socializing and everything else, but they also got pushed into being able to leverage these tools. And the parents that may work in non-technical industries or weren't as tech savvy, in many cases had to figure it out, are still
There are
figuring.
certainly some things, David, that you do not want to move online. And education is probably one of those things that is not a good idea to go wholly online to do. I will grant you. However, my kids, all 3 of my girls, had to go get a COVID education. It's been a year. They were removed from school just like everybody else, right? And I have one in college right now, double majoring in chemistry and biology. She acclimated herself right back into education very quickly. Have one that's teaching school in a elementary school right now, and one that's finishing up. She's a junior in high school. And all 3 of them rebounded and recovered from that period very well. Now, the reason for that is because they have a mother and a father that absolutely pushed the issue. They absolutely got them back and said, listen, this is over. Now you go to school every day. Now we're going to make up and make sure that you didn't drop off, and the gaps that you have in your education need to be filled with that education immediately.
Totally.
Yeah.
Crazy. And I guess that could go right into omni-channel strategy, which we've been kind of talking about for this whole show so far. But anything you want to add to that? Because I think we've covered so many pieces of it. You put it all together, and a lot of that's what it is. But I'm just looking at the show notes, right? I mean, social media promotions, right? And not just promotions, not ad buying, although that's a piece of it, but it is engagement, it's content, it's creating all these different things.
Well, yeah, a lot
Right,
of
and look,
businesses.
no, sorry, I'm just gonna say training your staff too, right? We talk about upskilling, right? Everybody, I still talk to people. One, I've never heard of AI. I mean, I live in a smaller part of California, but still people out there, they may have heard of it. It's just this, and oh, I'm a good writer. I don't need that. Are you hiring anybody, Wayne, in the future that isn't leveraging these tools?
Well, AI is one of the reasons that I haven't had to hire anybody. To be honest with you, I have stopped doing certain things about the time that I would need to hire someone. I'm a little bit of I'm a bad example when it comes to that. I hire teams of people to do specific projects for me, and then the term of that contract ends, and I go on to do the things myself. One of the things that I explained to somebody the other day was the number one reason, make no mistake, the number one reason any business fails is due to, I believe, lack of promotion. Not promoting that business correctly, not doing, and you don't have enough customers. And the more you promote, the more customers you will have. Look, you can fix pricing problems. You can fix, you can fix marketing issues. You can optimize your pricing. But if no one knows you exist, if you don't promote your podcast, if you don't promote your products, I'm telling you, you are not, it's impossible for you to succeed. Now, you may look at Tesla. That doesn't mean you'll never see an advertisement for Tesla, David. You know that?
No, yeah,
there are no magazine articles. I mean, there are no magazine ads for Tesla. There are no television commercials for Tesla. For Tesla, the largest car manufacturer in the US and I think in the world, he does not advertise that car, but he promotes the bejesus out of it. He shot one into orbit. Okay? I mean, the man is very good at promoting. Hey, by the way, did you see that rocket go back on the gantry? Elon put the rocket right back on the gantry after launching. A 23-story booster, 23 stories tall, came from space and maneuvered itself right back to the gantry. That's the thing that holds it to launch it. It is the most amazing thing. What do you think his competitors felt and when they were watching that? Because I'll bet you $1 billion they watched that thing do that. What did Russia, what did China, what did India think when they watched that American rocket go right back to the gantry? I mean, listen, it's game over. There should be one guy firing things into space as far as I'm concerned, because he brings it home, reuses it, and puts it, he can drive it right back to the gantry it lifted off from. It's insane. And the amount of promotion, free promotion that he got from that, he could not have purchased, Dave. He could not have paid for that much. Everyone is talking about this amazing Buck Rogers looking thing that he did. And he couldn't have put enough ads in the paper to get that much attention. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about. We spoke about it in the earlier topic. Could he, that same person might have just been trying to raise $10 million for an ad campaign.
Look, we've got a lot of friends, Dave, that they spend all this money. They raised all kinds of money. We know them personally. They raised $600,000, $700,000 for a questionable product that, you and I would look at it and kind of roll our eyes, but they were able to raise over $500,000. And, it's going to blow up because of lack of promotion. Nobody knows that it exists.
Thanks for coming to today's Zoom meeting. Let's break the ice by starting with a bad joke. A minister, a priest, and a rabbit walk into a bar. The bartender says to the rabbit, "What can I get you?" "I don't know, I'm just here because of autocorrect."
That is unacceptable, horrible.
You upset the baby.
That was as boring as your Zoom background.
People will think that I'm smart if I have books on a shelf behind me.
But I think one title is Green Eggs and Ham. Another one is Winnie the Pooh.
They were real nail biters.
If you subscribe to the Adobe Creative Suite, use Photoshop and Midjourney, you have all the tools to create great backgrounds. Like this one. I created the background in Midjourney, drew the birds in Illustrator, made them fly in Adobe Animate, and saved it as an MP4.
Companies can create a library of backgrounds for all their official Zoom interactions.
Does anyone want to hear another joke?
It is getting late.
You can buy great backgrounds now or join Zoomback Pro and create your own. Go to zoomback.pro for more info.
This did all of the good stuff. All of the bells and the whistles are on this thing, yet didn't think ahead to save enough money or to figure out a marketing plan that was going to bring it to everybody's attention.
Without a doubt.
So sad.
Right. Yeah, crazy. And then I know we have a few more, but I would love to hear your thoughts on improving product mix and and just introducing new products ongoing, right?
So, it's funny. I watch Valuetainment. Yeah, you know who Patrick Bet-David is? Everyone that listens to this podcast should listen to Patrick Bet-David. And I mean religiously. The guy is just a genius. I love hearing him talk with the passion that he talks about with. I like his politics. I'll confess that. But he has a line, the future looks bright clothing. Okay. It's a great message. Future looks bright. And he knows how to market it. And then everyone that, he knows, he does things, has meetings, he has election things, he does things that really require you to purchase his line of clothing. He has get-togethers where, hey, you can pay me $1,500 per ticket, but you're not getting in unless you're wearing my, the future looks bright hat. And he's sold out. He'll sell out. People need to understand that having one super product, that's great. But having the ancillary products around that, let's say that it's flip-flops, beach thongs, right? Shoes. And they're great. I used to buy a pair that would stick. It had a medical adhesive. It would stick to my feet called Cheap Charlie Soul Suckers. Okay. And you stepped on them out of the shower. You step on them and they would stick to your feet. And there was nothing on top of that and your foot would tan and it wouldn't have that real weird flip-flop line on your foot. Because I like wearing flip-flops, right? Yeah. And you talk about a conversation starter, people would stop me on the street and go, "Where in the heck did you get those things?" And that website only sold one thing. It only sold one thing. And I always thought to myself, man, this guy is really dropping the ball here. Because I can think of probably a million he could sell swim trunks that changed color when they got wet. He could sell shirts that would repel UV rays, right? He could sell all of these things that would go perfectly with his little Cheap Charlie Soul Suckers.
Crazy.
And I never got an opportunity to meet him, but if I had, I would have shaken the tar out of him and said, please think about selling You think of it as a meal, a very nice meal. You have an appetizer. That's the thing that brings people in, right? The appetizer product. But then you offer them, hey, would you like a salad? What would you like for your main course? These things really add up, David. They really add up. If you had an educational course, Witty has an educational course, you offer someone, hey, come to this meeting for free. At the end of that meeting, you say, hey, by the way, I know you're interested in AI. We have an AI course ready for you. It's being led over here. Now, this is going to be $25, but I guarantee you by the time you finish this AI course, you're going to be up to speed and you're going to be way ahead of the game.
Totally. I know. And then, I mean, we have our AI course that Camille did pretty much, and it's good. I think that's a baseline. We've got a couple of other things. But again, Wayne, are you going to put, with AI especially, are you putting something in the can?
100%.
Well, but also look, right, for some of it, but some next week it's going to be gone. It's not right. I mean, the top tools in AI, are you going to have that as an asynchronous type session, or would you just update it every couple of weeks or once a month, I guess?
Well,
You
look,
know,
the type of tool you could have, it doesn't necessarily have to be tip of the spear, but you can have an ongoing conversation and charge people to have that, be a part of that ongoing conversation. In other words, you could start with, hey, these are the tools we're using today. And by the way, here's my top 10 list of tools. If you're not using these 5 tools, you're not even, that's the cost of admission, right? With AI Tools Essentials, we went out and scoured the internet and became affiliate partners with hundreds of AI tools. And I'll tell you a secret. Some of those tools, Dave, no longer exist. Some of those tools were bought by other tools. They morphed into things that were more useful, right? Just what you're describing.
Right.
But all of those things, that happens with every single product that you purchase.
Totally. No, I mean, it's crazy, right? I mean, even just like with our summit that happens on November 19th and 20th, like, I wasn't going to create all the content 4 months ago. It would have been ridiculous. Now, can we target some of the speakers, right? Like, we have the AI policy lead for the UK, so she'll kind of let us know what's going, and the presentation will probably change up to a week before, right?
Yep.
We have Raymond speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all the decisions that can be made in IP.
Right. Well,
Right? No,
yeah, but
please.
David, here's what you do, right? You have the sections that we're going to talk about there, right? You can
Yeah.
talk about AI in medicine. You can talk about AI in the legal ramifications of AI. Those topics are going to be talked about in 9 months, in 2 years, in 10 years. Those topics are going to. The information within that topic is going to change. It better change. It has to change. So just if you go right now to Black Hawk Survival, the products that I put on there change fairly frequently. But there is a massive audience and a massive purchase group of people that really believe that they need survival gear. They need survival food. They need fresh water, access to fresh water. That never changes.
Yeah.
The technology, the new tents that came out, the sleeping bags that'll go into colder climates, the solar technology that I'm selling today that I was not selling before COVID. Okay. The solar technology that I can sell now is at prices, believe me, will blow your mind. And it is, those things change. Those things do change, those individual products. And you'd be wise. You're right. You'd be wise. Create an overarching outline of the things we need to discuss, and you insert into each one of those bundles the things that are pertinent today, as of today.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. And then, and then Wayne, I know like new products, right? And is it just, I guess it really depends on the business, right? Whether you're coming out with new products, whether you're just making the offer get better and better.
Loves going there a couple times a week. She's plays volleyball a lot, so she needs the energy. Whatever. But every time I go in there, or I'll give you a better example, Brewster's Ice Cream. Every time I go in, they are testing out new flavors, Dave. Some are hits, some are misses.
Yeah.
And you would be wise to not let your product offer stagnate. Do not get please, let me give you an example. You ever heard of Fleming's? You have Fleming's, right? You've eaten at a Fleming's steakhouse?
Mm.
Okay. Fleming's had on their menu creamed corn. It was the only place you could get, and the creamed corn at Fleming's, absolutely perfect. Perfect. They made the horrible mistake of updating their menu, and they took creamed corn off of their menu. And many, many, many of their customers flipped their you-know-what. Because they went in, you can get steak at a lot of different places, Dave. But that creamed corn, that was a favorite, and they should not have messed with that creamed corn. I'm talking to you, Flemings. I hope you see this. They should never have touched that product. Now, changing your product for changing your product's sake, not a good idea. But updating your offerings is always a good idea. Testing, finding out what people are actually interested in and what they find, what the flavors are now. It's a very good idea.
Right. And with Fleming's, maybe it was for the health considerations of its customers.
Yeah, guess what? I'll look after my health. Look at me. I'm a perfect specimen. I look after my health. Nothing goes in my mouth that isn't going to be, look, I'm the guy that I'm telling you right now. I believe in God. When I go to heaven, I'll have a hunk of cheesecake in one hand and a Diet Coke in the other hand. And I will be thanking God for the great time I had while I was here on planet Earth. Neither of those things are the best for me, but I intend to enjoy what little bit of life I am given. And the same thing I would tell you is, you don't make that decision for other people. That's really what this election and every election is about, is what decisions we make for other people.
The election in the Philippines?
The election, or any election, I said. Any election is about what are we going to impose? What views of ours are we going to impose on others? And that's true in Chechnya, in Israel, in Saudi Arabia, and in the United States. It's true everywhere on the planet. You vote for people that you hope are not going to impose their views on you. That's your hope.
Got it. Who do we have? I don't even think we've talked. I'll tell you, let's just give, because I know you've been going through it recently, Wayne, just all the speakers, right, that we've had at Odyssey. I mean, I know we're opening up going forward. We'll have kind of, we'll still have kind of the men's community and good hour to spend on that together. But I just think and we'll have speakers that everybody can come to. Because I think even just, if you think of the past speakers, what great value that we cannot deprive anybody of seeing, Brad Parks last week and his stories, kind of combined with Daniel Stinson before that.
I was going to say the week before that, Dan Stinson, the man saved 18,000 people from Afghanistan. I was cutting clips today when he was telling us about the lady that was trying to get children out of Afghanistan. And come to find out, she was actually human trafficking and expecting him to facilitate human trafficking to, a number of European countries. I mean, look, you choose your heroes carefully, David. Choose your heroes. Choose those you would emulate very, very carefully. Dan Stinson, top of my list. Top of my list. This is someone that I want to emulate. This is someone that I look up to. And that list is short, by the way. You know me. That list is very short.
And then just look, I mean, the wisdom of Raymond, right? A few weeks
Right.
before that. Jesus, I didn't even know some of that. And just so many great nuggets to take away. Dave Taylor and his Vector Money, that was just like, I mean, that was so weird because it was, I guess that was the first time where I ever, we're kind of, I think, texting back and forth, like, the F is he talking about? But then it all came together.
Right.
Right. It just all made sense and like, oh, that's what he's talking about. Right. I mean,
Well, I explained it to somebody the other day that, look, I'll tell you that under no uncertain terms, several of the men in Odyssey were not happy with the change in policy. And the way I explained it to them is, we do such a good job, and there are women that demanded to be included. A whole half of the sex, half of the gender,
right.
demanded to be included in these talks, in this fellowship.
Right. But again, it's not that. We're not changing Odyssey.
I
Odyssey,
understand.
right? So, I mean, I think let's
Understand.
just get that messaging out correctly. We're going to have Saturday sessions, right? Where there'll be a kind of a networking, connecting for everybody. There'll be a speaker and the conversation around that for everybody. Then we'll have, the men's group, Lighthouse. We on Fridays, we have, Forged, right? That's just, you and I can't attend that. Right? I think it's
Yeah,
just
but you understand that that is not what people are hearing. That's not
listen,
what
I
is
don't care
going into their
what they're-
ears.
okay, I got it. But
All right.
Again, which goes back to when you're running the social media, you can't
Mhm.
react to every miscommunication out there. Right? And somebody that doesn't have their piece of gardening equipment seem to be the loudest.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like, listen, the complainers are going to complain no matter what the F you do.
Yeah.
The ones that want to help pull the boat and row, right?
Look, you and I are on the same sheet of music on this. Okay. We are singing from the same page in the hymnal. You understand? I understand what we're trying to do, what you started, and I am going to help you facilitate. Okay. I'm just letting you know, and letting our audience know, that in order to bake a cake, you got to break a couple eggs. And you've got to whip, the butter's got to be whipped to make the frosting. Okay. So you have to do things. Some of those are irretrievable. Some of those things you'll never be able to put back together. And once you put the ingredients together, you try separating the eggs out of the cake you're trying to bake. It doesn't work, buddy. You can't get the eggs out of the batter. So be thoughtful in what you're doing, make a decision, and you head that direction. And everyone will fall in line. And that's what we're doing here. And we're in agreement, you and I. We are 100% in agreement. I have no problem. I'm just letting you know that there are eggs in the batter that sometimes, and not just with us, but sometimes there are eggs in the batter, or some people to say, hey, take the chocolate out of the batter. And it's impossible. You can't do that. We've already made the decisions.
Totally. Hey, this was a good one tonight. I think.
Well, we didn't talk about one, Dave. We didn't talk about one that I wanted to discuss: pricing optimizations.
Right. Okay. Go to that. Totally.
Pricing optimization. And maybe we'll save it for another time. But I wanted people to understand when they receive this that pricing optimization is. We have not discussed it yet. I'll have an entire pricing optimization example. Because so many people are confused over what that term means. And so maybe it is better we talk about it another time. You
Well,
done?
look, no, I'm not. I'm fine, but I'm just saying that's another conversation that's ongoing, right? And I think there's some real experts out there that we can bring in. And I even, there are some that have really studied deep, and there's some great books out there. Pear, The Price Whisperer.
Imagine a world where your professional growth knows no bounds. Welcome to Witty.com, celebrating 35 years of empowering innovators. Join a community where trust and influence are at the core. Experience exclusive training programs designed to elevate your skills. Our annual summit brings together the brightest minds from multiple industries. As a member, you'll gain access to invaluable resources and support. Network with like-minded professionals who share your passion for innovation. Benefit from mentorship programs that guide you towards success. Celebrate your achievements with a community that recognizes your efforts. Witty.com is more than a membership. It's a journey of growth and success. Join us in celebrating 35 years of innovation and excellence. Take advantage of our special anniversary membership offer today. Unlock your potential with workforce innovation, trust, and influence. Visit Witty.com and become a member today.
He's somebody I know. There's a guy in the guy from Germany, I think. It's a lot of it's psychological and value, and there's the Alex Hermosi books, and I think we need to get Chuck Dublé on to he studies
Well,
that.
look, it's a very simple process. Okay, it's a very simple process. The way that you optimize pricing. Let's say that you're selling your time. Okay, you are a coach and you are selling your time, and you have holes in your schedule. You can lower your price and see if those holes fill up. Now, let's say the reverse is true, and you have, like my father-in-law. My father-in-law came to me, said, "Hey, I'm making cigar box guitars." You've heard of Rich, makes
Yeah.
cigar box guitars. And he tells me, "Man, I don't have enough time for the demand. I can't make enough." And I said, "Well, guess what? It's time to raise your freaking price." You raise your price at that time. You optimize the price for the audience. And you tell them, "Yes, I know it was $275 for that guitar last week. It is now $325. Do we have a sale?" And then you give yourself the opportunity to build back up your inventory. Every single store optimizes their price the same way. When you're selling eggs, you lower your price until you don't have eggs anymore. You
Right.
start with the highest price in town and you lower that price until you have no more eggs.
Totally. And then, right? And you don't need to go up 500%, right? You can go up 30%. Like the price at Witty's been pretty standard. That includes Odyssey, everything. It's currently $29 a month, $297 a year. And we have the promo where you'll get 2 years until November 1st. The prices are going to be increasing to $497 or $49 a month. But look, again, we're throwing 10 times value on it. I don't
I
even.
was just going to say, when
Yeah,
you do that,
yeah.
all of the things we're talking about, all those value adds that you're saying, "Hey, look, you liked being in the AI." Well, guess what? That's part of your membership cost. You can go into all of that, get all of that information that you want.
For sure. And then, people would tell me, "Oh, well, money back guarantee." I've always given a money back guarantee, but I didn't promote it. It's like, wouldn't
Sure.
people expect that? But I guess there are these slimy businesses, I can't take money from people that aren't getting value.
Yeah,
Did
with
you
me
do
with
that,
Melody
right?
Clouds, I had people all the time. The largest button in that app was the unsubscribed button, and I would have people that would get I'm like, you don't need to be angry with me. I have already refunded this month's this month's subscription to you. I've pressed the button. You're not subscribed anymore. There's no anger you need to have here.
Right, because it's all it's because the people been getting tainted from all the
Yeah.
other, and it's like, look, I think it's just accountability because I want everybody in the community to rise up.
So many times, by the way, so many times, I would have them call me back in a week and say, "Hey, I resubscribed. I resubscribed to this app because the app that I thought was going to be better, or it was more expensive, or whatever." So look, there you go.
Totally. Displays, pop-up, pop-ups. I want to talk about all that, but let's save it for another episode. 'Cause I do want, as far as displays, pop-up ads, right? How they work on cell phones, and you don't want to. I mean, I have one app for another community I'm involved in. Every time I fucking go, I'm getting the pop-up trying to sell me something else.
Just so you know, every single person, and this goes for anybody that's using that kind of stuff, every single person that enters your store feels the same way that David just elucidated. Okay, every single person that goes into your store, and you've got pop up this and the spinner and all that kind of stuff, every single one of your customers is trying to wade through that crap to get to the things that you actually sell to them.
Totally. And look, and I think there is a bunch of that. We don't have our third wheel here to be here, and would love his insight. So maybe, Wayne, for the next one, we get into just some of the stuff, around loyalty programs. I think we didn't cover, and that could be a whole episode of its own, right? I can share some stuff that I just use as a user, and how can I implement it? Flash sales, right? Do you have something? Black Friday's coming up, right? Yeah, let's talk about all that on the next episodes. I think will be a good kind of part 2 to this, where we could just go down deep some of these
Plenty
areas.
of content to get to, Dave.
It'd be good to have Ian's perspective, especially as he's coming back from the TED show.
Yeah, I can't wait.
No, and I'm playing around. TED, I mean, great people, all the people I know. Dr. Bruce, the sleep doctor we saw earlier tonight. I think he speaks at those shows. So it is all good in the hood. Thank you, 23.
23.
I mean, I'm a Laker fan.
By the time, hey, you want to make a bet right now on how many subscribers we have by the time we join up again?
I'll set the over under at 7450.
Really? So you think about 7,400 subscribers?
Well, we're at 7,050 now, so I'm saying the next 48 hours.
So in the next
400.
No, not the next 48 hours. I'm saying between the time you and I get together again to film another episode. So
Okay.
between the two episodes, how many do you? Which is generally 7 days.
So I'll double that. So I'll say I'm going to say 78.
Just shy of 8,000 subscribers.
Right, 7,800. I said.
Okay.
Okay. You want over or under 7,800?
I think we'll probably be at about 8,000 to 8,500.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because of the way this is exponentially starting to grow. You and Ian, when I started promoting this on YouTube, and still to this day, most of our audience came from a promoted post on YouTube. But I saw something today that is going to make you two knuckleheads eat crow.
Lumping me together on an individual.
No. You and him are partners on this. You hold hands. I'm telling you right now, what I noticed was we are starting to get it's very narrow on the people that come to us through promotion and the people that come to us organically. So this is working exactly as according to plan.
I love it. Okay, brother.
All right. Hey, have a great night.
See you. Bye.